Today, we're finally looking at an Alienware laptop. This is the Aurora 16X. This is Dell's attempt at a budget gaming laptop while staying within the Alienware brand. So does it live up to its promises? Let's find out. And please like and subscribe if you like these type of videos. This laptop is actually very stealthy for an Alienware device. It has basically no RGB on the outside and just this small Alienware logo in the middle of this very pretty navy blue color. And from the outside, this feels like one of the best built laptops I have ever felt. It has a fully metal body on the top and bottom, and these are thick layers of metal. This makes it feel like an absolute tank, and you could probably kill someone with this thing. But that also means it weighs about as much as a tank. At more than 2.5 kilograms, this is a very heavy laptop. And it's also about as big as a tank. This is not a thin and light laptop, folks. But that should mean it has quite some space for cooling, which it will probably need because this laptop has some powerful components. With the second fastest Intel laptop processor this year, it should be one of the fastest laptops around. But for some reason, its GPU only goes up to an RTX 5070 with 8 GB of VRAM. I guess Dell wants you to spend more on a higher tier laptop if you want higher specs. Which is unfortunate, because it does have basically the highest possible power limits for these parts. As for its port selection, it has basically everything you could ever want, even an Ethernet jack. But it comes with an absolutely massive power brick. I mean, this thing is ridiculously big. And yes, gaming laptops do use a lot of power, so that is to be expected. But 280 watt bricks from other brands are a lot smaller. So Dell is probably using older technology here to save some money. But this adds a lot of weight on top of the already heavy package, making this thing a bit of a burden to carry around. It can charge through USB-C as well though, so a way smaller charger is always a possibility. Just don't try to play games while plugged in with an USB-C charger. Okay, onto its keyboard. It does have an RGB backlight, but it's only single zone, so no crazy perky RGB light shows unfortunately. The keys themselves are decent at best. They don't have a lot of key travel, so they're not the best. And the keys are pretty badly balanced, so you might miss a couple of keys if you're a softer typer. It does have reprogrammable macro keys at the top though, which is handy. And also a numpad on the side with media keys. You love to see it. But under that lies its trackpad. And this thing is downright awful. It's made of plastic, so the material itself already doesn't feel very premium. But you can barely hear or feel the clicks. It almost feels like it's broken. I thought this was because it has like a cool RGB trackpad, like on some other Alienware laptops, but it doesn't have that either, so it just sucks. Oh, and it's also absolutely tiny, so I would really recommend just using a mouse on this guy. On a good note, this thing has a great screen. With a 2.5K 240Hz IPS display, this is a very good LCD panel. It has beautiful, accurate colors that are very vibrant, and even the blacks look good on here. It's not an OLED unfortunately, so it doesn't have perfect blacks, but as far as LCDs go, it looks awesome. It also gets nice and bright at 500 nits, so even outside use is possible, and it has a matte coating, so it handles reflections well, but it does have some glare. That 240Hz refresh rate is awesome though, and it makes games look very smooth. Other reviewers have said that the pixel response times on it are slow, but I myself have had no issues with it at all. And 1600p at 16 inches is also nice and sharp. Overall, this display is just great. It is very thick for some reason though. I mean, there are mini LED displays that are thinner than this. And what isn't great is its hinge. You just can't open this thing with one hand. I feel like it's way too tight, or they just didn't think this through very much. It does open up to a full 180 degrees though, which is nice. But when this laptop is turned off, and you open the lid, it turns on by itself. This is something that MacBooks do as well, and it is a horrible feature. Say you want to just clean the inside of your laptop after you turned it off, Alienware does not want you to. But how are this guy's speakers? They're alright. They do get very loud, and the sound is pretty clear, but they're completely lacking in bass. So for basic use, it's more than fine, but for gaming or music, you're better off just using headphones. The camera looks pretty good, albeit a bit lower quality, but the microphone is definitely very muffled. Either way, they're both good enough for basic web conferences. But now for a gaming laptop's most important thing, performance. The 16X has the second fastest Intel chip in a laptop, but it caps out at an RTX 5070. So how fast is this thing? Well, in Cinebench R23, it is an absolute beast. The 275HX beats out pretty much every other CPU in both single and multi-core performance. And in 3D Mark TimeSpy, it also does very well, which should be expected since it's not power limited in any way. But benchmarks do not tell the entire story. We need to see how it performs with both the CPU and GPU active. And this thing is a gaming laptop after all, so let's play some actual games.
No, you... Paco, you are teaching. The rest of
I'll hack you to pieces. Ha! You'll never take me down.
What did you do, man? No!
So in terms of gaming performance, the 16X did everything just fine, with one exception. It ran every game at high frame rates with ease, even at its pretty high native resolution of 1600p. But in Oblivion, it was chugging along for some reason, and it lagged quite a bit. I've done a full driver reset and even a clean Windows reinstall on this, but it still kept happening. I guess this laptop just doesn't like Bethesda games very much. But it ran everything else just fine. The Ultra 9 275HX in here is simply a beast. And even though the 5070 only has 8GB of VRAM, that doesn't seem to be a huge problem yet. Both of these parts were getting all the power they needed, so performance wasn't bottlenecked one bit. So be it the heaviest applications or the newest games, this thing can handle it all. But with a huge cooling system and high power limits, I am curious about how hot it ran. Well, unfortunately, it was consistently running at its limits. The GPU ran at the very edge of its thermal limits, and the CPU was also pretty damn hot in the heaviest of games. You can set custom thermal limits in the Alienware software though, and I did have them at the maximum. So this isn't a huge issue. It was running stable and not at dangerous temperatures. But if you want the best performance, like you saw on here, you'll have to be flying close to the sun. But now I'm gonna show you the worst part of this laptop. It's fan noise. It has a high-pitched whine, and it sounds absolutely awful. The fan noise itself wasn't that loud or anything, that's not the issue. But it has this very annoying jet whine to it. And I know that we like to say that gaming laptops sound like a jet engine taking off as a joke, but this is taking it way too far. It makes this noise even at lower RPMs, so I would just not like sitting next to this thing. But moving on to battery life, the 16X has a pretty big battery, but also a very power-hungry CPU. So how long does it last? Well, I tested battery life under two scenarios, under light use and during gaming. In the light use test, I played a YouTube video until its battery died, with its display at 80% brightness, at 60 Hz, and with the dedicated GPU turned off. And yeah, you better not use this thing for school. The 275HX is very power hungry, so it does not like being off a charger. So either bring that chunk of a charging brick with you, or a smaller USB-C charger. And in the gaming test, I played Battlefield 1 until its battery died, with the same settings as before. I'm not even gonna say anything. If you wanna play games on battery on the go, get a gaming handheld, not a gaming laptop. But since this thing is so big and thick, does it have a lot of space for upgradability? Well, yes, absolutely. It has two SODIMM slots, so you can very easily upgrade its RAM. It also has two M.2 SSD slots, so storage upgrades are, again, very easy. And it even has a replaceable Wi-Fi card. So overall, nothing but good news. But what about its pricing? Alienware is known for their expensive laptops, so is this budget option actually affordable? Well, no, not really. It's definitely at the high end of RTX 5070 laptops, at around $1,900. There are cheaper, lower spec models available as well, but those are also pretty expensive compared to the competition, or have some other downsides to the laptop. And the same goes for the US, where it's actually a bit more expensive than similar products from other brands. Which brings us to our conclusion. Is the Alienware Aurora 16X worth it? Well, personally, I don't think so. It does have one of the best build qualities out of any laptop I've tested. I mean, this thing is on par with a MacBook with these materials. But because of that, it is way too heavy compared to the competition. And when you add that hunk of a power brick on top of that, you better have some muscles, because it's gonna feel like you're in combat training with this thing on your back. It does perform very well though. With high power limits and a powerful CPU, this thing will handle everything you throw at it. So if you're just looking at performance, then yes, this is a great laptop. But to me, the biggest deal breaker with this laptop has gotta be that annoying fan noise. I could not stand writing a script next to this thing. It's still going. Even at lower RPMs, it sounded like a jet was taking off. And you're gonna be hearing that most of the time if you have it plugged in. So I would say this: look for this thing in a physical store, turn the fans all the way up, and look if the noise annoys you. If you don't care about the fan noise, then the 16X is great. It's definitely expensive and heavy, but it performs very well. Otherwise, there's plenty of other options from other brands that perform the same and probably cost less. Which makes me curious to how it compares to some other laptops we've tested before. For example, the Zephyrus G16 has the build quality of the Alienware, but is a lot thinner and lighter. While the Strix G16 has the performance of the Alienware, but is a lot cheaper. So which one is better? Well, I'm gonna compare it to both of those laptops, so stay tuned for the next videos. Now let me give a huge shout out to my YouTube members. Soundwife, Thomas, Inky, Mr. Frosty Dude, Dropson1, Martijn Snijkers, Flimsy, Aki, Disco Volante, Mr. Nuke, Sebastian, Christian Sands, Real Elf, Eric the Red, Wesley Rhodes, Michael, Ghost Data, Anu Gadar, Abdullah, and Mapeace. If you become a YouTube member, you get early access to content of mine, a shout out at the end of every video, and you'll also be supporting me as a creator to make these videos. And of course, you'll also be part of the Cool Guys Club, so you can use cool emojis like these in the comment section. So join the club if you're interested. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.